Hey there, Equestrian Mamas. Thanks for joining me today. Today I want to talk to you about keeping your little equestrians riding through the winter. It's really a struggle we have here. I don't know if I've ever told everybody where we live, but we are in BC, Canada, and it has been a deep freeze lately. So I thought that maybe I would share some of the things that we do to keep everybody motivated and going through the winter. Um, I definitely don't think we ride. Well, I know we don't ride as much in the winter, but I have a few tips and tricks that I'd like to share that might help you guys keep things going through the winter. So, we all know that keeping kids riding in the winter is not a fun thing. It brings a whole set of new challenges. It's cold, it gets dark early. I find the biggest struggle we have is coordinating ride time with the kids after school. There's just not enough daylight. Um, so it's a bit of an uphill battle. I'm sure that you guys have played this game as well. Uh, but keeping the kids engaged in riding during the winter it's really worth it. It's a tough struggle, but it's totally worth it. It helps them stay consistent in their journey. I find if the kids don't get enough ride time through the winter, they kind of fall back in their riding progress and then they don't understand why that is. So keeping them consistent as much as possible really helps from that happening. It builds resilience for sure. And let's be honest, it burns some of that extra energy, and which can be so hard to do in the winter. I don't know about you, but my kids are busybodies, so being able to give them a positive outlet to burn that energy is so important. The biggest thing for success is dressing them for success. If Isla gets cold, she's done. I can have her out there for 5 minutes and she can get a little bit cold and she is done. So dressing them for success is the biggest factor for me anyways. The first step to making all of that work is to dress them in layers. I tend to not buy specific base layers. I find the kids don't like them. They're scratchy. They're not very comfortable. Put them in fleece jammies. Put them in their regular jammies and then layer on top. Um, Sometimes you might have to go out and buy, if you ride a lot in the winter and your kids are strictly jean kids, you might have to go out and buy a size bigger to keep them comfortable with layers underneath. Leggings work really well. Amazon has some fantastic fleece line leggings. Amy loves them. She'll live in them. But there is specific brands of breeches that are lined, and you can get fleece lined jeans as well. It depends on how cold you get too, and that's another topic I'll cover in a moment is temperature. Um, Getting them grippy reins for if they're wearing gloves can really help too. Sometimes gloves are quite slippery and that can really take away their confidence and their motivation to ride if it feels difficult. So grippy reins with gloves is a big one. Neck covers, you can get the helmet. I have one somewhere and I tried to find it to show you guys, but you can get covers that go over the helmet and then cover their chin and their cheek and the whole front of their faces, so that it's just their little eyes poking out. But they're one with the helmet, and those work really well to keep them warm in the winter. Silk scarves, things like that can really make a huge difference. I did grab a pair of, these are Tough Rider riding pants. Joggers, breeches, whichever. I always forget which is which. But they're, I don't know if you can tell, they're fleece lined. So they're super warm and they come in teeny tiny sizes. So that's a big struggle I have with Isla because she's so teeny tiny. I struggle to find brands that will fit her well. These ones are size 5, but I have them down in a size 3 and they're fantastic. And they still have the belt loops, so Amy likes to wear her belt every time. They are a little bit smaller than the other breeches, but they do keep the kids much warmer. So on like -5 and up, this is enough to keep them warm. If it's colder, then they're gonna need more layers, and it's always easier to pull layers off. I've pulled pants off in the middle of a ride because the kids are too hot. Riding specific jackets, winter jackets, are really worth the investment too. Amy has a carrots jacket that's fit her forever. I've just rolled the sleeves up to fit her, and that's made a huge difference for her. These like Sherpa sweatshirts and things, unfortunately they don't stay lovely looking. I'm sure there's a wash tip somebody's got for me to keep them lovely looking, but these work really good as underlayers too. So keep stuff like that in mind. And fleece line leggings on Amazon, even just pairs of leggings under leggings, and the more layers you can get on them, the better. Keeping extremities warm is a big factor. They do have lined riding gloves. I find that they're not super warm, so sometimes I'll put those cheap, you can get those cheap like $2 gloves from Walmart, say. Even the dollar store usually has them. And I'll put those on underneath and then put the lined riding gloves over top. They give a little bit more grip on the reins too. Another hack you can do if you have a bigger kid is putting on a surgical gloves underneath your gloves. Really helps keep your hands warm. It doesn't work so well when their hands are little, or it's just too much to shove inside of a glove. But if you have a bigger kid, maybe early teens kind of thing, you can probably find them a pair of surgical gloves to fit underneath, and that makes a huge difference. So that's clothing tips and tricks, and then we'll move on to focusing on adaptive activities. So when it's too cold to ride outside, shift the focus to activities that don't require a saddle. Groundwork's a huge one. You can do it real quick. Just run out and grab the horses. You don't even have to take them out of the pen if it's safe to do so. And they can do a bit of leading. My girls love to do join up, their version, and they just throw the lead ropes over their ponies' backs and get them to follow them. And sometimes they'll put treats in their pockets to motivate them, but it gets them out there and interacting with their ponies, which I find, even if I just send them out to go say hi, give their ponies a treat. We don't hand feed a lot, so the kids put their treats in a bucket and then give the ponies the bucket. I find it safer that way. We were not losing fingers and things like that. Especially in the cold, the ponies will grab gloves and such. Teach your kids to lead. Teach them to lunge. Teach them to ground drive if you have a safe horse to do so. Grooming their pony is a huge one. Incorporate some theory sessions too. I love doing this stuff, and I can make a separate video showing some of those things I do if you'd like. These lessons, like sit them at a window and get them to watch body language if you have a small herd out there. If that's an option, that's a really good one. What else can you do? Get them to do a marionette horses. You can find them online. There's all kinds of different resources. I can link some of them down below. These lessons will really build their horsemanship skills, which will build their confidence, which will help them as riders for the rest of their lives. And horsemanship skills are so important to me personally, because I want to, not only my own kids, but my lesson kids, I want them to be able to have the skills to be able to go to a new barn and do lessons there, or maybe mom and dad decide to buy a horse, or grandma and grandpa decide to buy a horse on a whim and they all of a sudden just stop doing lessons. I want to make sure that they're learning those fundamental skills to help them. And you can really make it fun. Like the girls love to set up jump courses, so I set them up jump courses and I make them count the strides between. Or we do, the girls know how to leg yield and two track and those kinds of things, side pass, back up, so we can put together a little bit of a game where they do all these different things. They really like their stick horses too, so they'll go do that. Lots of different things you can do with them in the house. Polo wrapping their own legs. Cleaning tack is another big one. Take a bridle apart, clean it, and see if they can put it back together. So there's tons of things you can do inside as well. I was going to touch base on temperature. So for us, if it's below -10, I really don't expect them to ride, and usually not very much handwork either. They just go out and say hello to their ponies, and I don't even make them do that every day. If it's -20, then you know what, we're hunkered down. I've taken the responsibility of making sure everybody's fed and watered and all those things. And the girls, I just take that responsibility away from them when it's that cold, unless they're asking to go do those things. So set those temperature guidelines well ahead of time so that you can take the guilt away from it. I myself don't ride below -15, so I know if it's -15 or below, I'm not riding that day. It's not, I don't feel guilt because I understand that that's just the way we do things. So set those guidelines so you can take the guilt out of it, and so that everybody understands what's expected of them and when. And that helps a ton. The next thing is make things fun. Winter doesn't have to be all serious and work. Get creative and make things fun. Set up winter obstacle courses or pretend you're in a snowy trail ride. The girls like to ride bareback. I get them to ride a lot more bareback when it's cold out. The ponies help keep them warm. I throw a quarter sheet over top of them and away they go. Another idea is let the kids decorate their ponies with ribbons or have a winter themed photo shoot. We try to do Christmas pictures every year, so that's something the kids really look forward to. And we just go to the dollar store and pick up stuff, in our bucket of Christmas stuff keeps expanding, but it's a lot of fun, and it's something that we do every year. The girls also save Christmas every year. That's something we do, and these activities can really help get them out in the barn and enjoying things even when it's cold. And like I said before, set realistic goals. In the winter, it's important to keep goals realistic. Instead of aiming for big milestones, focus on small achievable ones. Maybe it's mastering groundwork techniques or working on balance during short rides. Dropping their stirrups and picking their stirrups up is a great one. Riding on the lunge line without reins is another good one if you have a safe horse to do so. Winter is about maintaining progress, not pushing for perfection, but celebrating the little wins. We really want to try to help them maintain where they're at so they don't have to struggle so much to try to catch up and be where they were when spring comes. And then for some kids, a reward system is really helpful. Amy could care less about a reward system, but Isla really thrives on having, okay, I went and did this hard task. What do I get now? She really thrives off of that reward system. So something as little as a candy when they come in, it can go a long way. But set what those things are before you implement it. Earning badges for mastering new skills. Sometimes cocoa or hot chocolate on a chilly ride. If the girls are dedicated to going for a ride and it's been cold, if I can, I'll make hot chocolate and bring it out in a thermos, and we'll have that when they're attacking their ponies and things like that. It can go, that little bit of a encouragement can go a long ways. And then always being adaptive and staying flexible is huge. Winter is unpredictable, as we all know. So staying flexible is key. Some days a short ride or even unmounted lessons might be all you can do. And try to be really grateful for being able to at least get that in. Encourage your kids to journal about their winter progress. It's a great way for them to see how far they've come, even if it doesn't feel like they're making lots of progress. And connecting with other equestrian families can be huge. We are pretty lucky that girls get to do a Christmas ride with their friends. I would like to get them out with their friends more, but it is a challenge in the winter, and we have a very slippery and very long driveway. Winter is a great time to connect with other equestrian families, organize group activities like snowy trail rides, or even walks on foot. Barn game nights, I really want to do that one. Or even virtual equine trivia nights. You can also find bingo cards that are horse related. I think that would be so much fun. Having the community component of it really makes winter riding more fun, and it gives the kids something to look forward to. So Isla loves to go to school and tell her little friend about her pony adventures, and her little friend tells her her little pony adventures, and it's really kept Isla motivated to keep doing stuff, because her little friend does something. Oh, well, I want to go do what she did, or oh, I want to do this, so I can tell her all about it. And it keeps the momentum when things are tough a little bit more fun. If anybody would like to maybe have a virtual community, I would be more than happy to have people join the Equestrian Mama Facebook page, and we can help each other motivate our kids through the winter. So winter riding doesn't have to be a struggle. With a little creativity and flexibility, you can keep your kids engaged, learning, and having fun all season long. It is a grind, but we can do it. Remember, this time is about more than just riding. It's about building resilience, nurturing their love for horses, and creating memories they'll carry forever. So we want to focus on having fun, doing things that will keep them engaged, and really focusing on the love for the horse in this season, and not worry so much about their progress as riders. It's okay to take a little break. It's okay to slow things down. So can you tell me what your favorite winter riding tip is? What helps you get through winter? I know that there's so many varieties of winter, and we have some of the harshest winter conditions that we really struggle through. But I want to hear what keeps you guys riding through the winter. What keeps you going out to the barn even when it's miserably cold and everything's frozen? I would love to hear what that is for you. Until next time, stay warm, stay safe, and keep chasing your equestrian dreams.